I mean, my advice my advice to directors would be to talk story, theme, and all the things that you talk to all your crew members about with your composer and ASAP, like soon as possible, like soon as you cast your lead actor, man, you should have an idea, you know what I mean, who your composer is going to be. I mean that because that time progressively gets so much shorter. You know what I mean? As you all know how it is working on big studio films. This is my first feature, but like everything got compressed. I was closer. You know, anything involved with post production, that time got compressed. So it was fantastic that Ludwig and I, had a relationship from beforehand. I'm not saying you got to know your composer for 6 years and had spent all that time that we spent together, but if you can talk to them about what's important to you about the film, why you made it, you know what I mean? What's the artistic choices that are going into the characters, into the overall story as early as possible? It's going to be a blessing in the end.
The first thing I think is getting the composer in early, from the beginning, from the start. Just look at a composer like you would when you meet an actor for the first time, reading the script, discussing what the movie's about. So then you have that time. And I think when you get later in the post, the second thing I would advise as a director, if it's mainstream, if it's the studio, or if it's independently, making a film in the independent form, is really try to shield the composer away from certain individuals that can derail the process. So in the independent world, the producers or executives who are not going to give the right notes are going to derail the projects. And with the studio, in the studio way, when you get the music, you got to show the executive, then the executive got to show her executive, and then you got to show the president. So you got like 3 steps, and then you get all those notes, and you got to get back to the composer. So sometimes you have these phone conferences, and sometimes I try to shield the composers away from that and try to get those notes and try to derail what can take the project in a way that you don't want. So I would say as a director is to really have that strength to stand up to what you believe in and to shield the composer enough that he knows what's going on but doesn't. And I think you need to establish that power right off the bat. Or if not, you're going to be doing many different demos and things can get kind of confusing.
Alan Rudolph, who I had the great pleasure of doing 12 films with, I believe, I asked him, well, you get beat up so often, by the notes that you get. He said, every note is an opportunity to make the film better. And I think you can live by that. And always, therefore, take it on your own terms and be willing to communicate about it.
Yeah, I would follow that up by, so much has been said, it's hard to say something different, but treat yourself with respect. Like, how do you want yourself to be heard? And a jazz piano teacher once told me this story about, I don't know where he was, Chicago or someplace, playing Playboy Club, like 2 o'clock in the morning Wednesday. And there's some guys over sitting in the corner, and it's dark, and you can't pay attention. And he later learns it's Miles. And he's like, what the fuck, man? If everybody in the room should be my Miles. And I think it's a really important way to engage each other. And just because you're working on something small or independent, or it's not the project you want, you're waiting for the next thing, you don't really get anything out of it if you don't kick as much butt as you possibly can. And it doesn't mean you're so obsessed with being perfect that you can't move beyond a cue. But like Mark said, everybody has a point of view. And whether it's only 1% of what they're saying, it's important to treat everybody with the respect because you'll just get more out of it.
Coming off that, for me, it's about sort of trusting your own point of view. I'm always second guessing myself. So I had, before I started this film, I knew what direction I wanted to go, and then there's the producers and the editors and everyone's coming in with all these opinions, and then I get confused. And it's about, but I originally went back to that original vision, and it's about really sort of trusting that point of view and trusting that what you want to do with the project, and not sort of constantly second guessing yourself.
A couple things. I think if it's at all possible to get a director away from the temp score as early as possible, I think you're going to end up with a much more original score and something unique. You're going to be able to put more of yourself into it and not have the shadow of other music influencing something and that actually won't be there in the final product. And at the same time, if you can choose the products that you're passionate about and you really love it, I think that's really vital because there's going to be parts that are really difficult, and you have to just love it and know that you're going to get through that. And I think to get through the whole process. You need to choose those and not do it for the wrong reasons.
Something we talked about at the start, which I really believe in, is just remember that before you're a composer, if you're writing film music, you're a storyteller. It's all about narrative, and it's all about telling the story.
Well, we're out of time. Thank you. You guys were amazing.